bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge meets his nephews all lean in, breaking down fights, codes that daddy supreme on. Just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man, dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged, from the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick, hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man, dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls deep predictions, he be making those calls, getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jabs to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight Night Kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday night. I wanted to get this out a day early because it's UFC 317. This is a phenomenal card. We got one of the best fights of the year headlining this card in Topuria versus Charles Oliveira for the 155-pound belt that was vacated by Islam Makhachev so that he could move up to 170. So we got Islam moving from 155 up to 170. We've got Ilya moving up from 145 to 155. And it's going to be a hell of a main event between two phenomenal fighters. And then we've got a flyweight championship fight between Alexander Pantoja and Kai Kara France. We got Royval versus Van. We've got Dariush versus Money Moicano. We got Talbott versus Lima. We got Hermanson versus Rodriguez. We got Amil versus Delgado. The return of Tracy Cortez. Terrence McKinney versus Slava Borshchev is a phenomenal fight. Jacoby Smith is a phenomenal prospect. Janice, Alvin Hines is going to be a fun fight. And then we've got Jackson McVey versus Christopher Ewert starting off this card. It's going to be a fun one, you guys. We got 12 fights to break down. I'm going to do a quick full card breakdown for you guys. I'm going to give you guys my dog pick of the week. I'm going to give you guys Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Who's going to win? Who's going to win violently? That leaves you saying, man, that poor individual got their ass shaved out there. Well, I'm going to tell you who's doing that, and then we're going to do a quick Greasy 4-leg parlay, and then I'll see what's going on with you guys in the chat, answer any questions you have, say what's up to everybody that's hanging out live with us here tonight on YouTube, on Twitter. And I got a special bonus for you guys. So every week, I do about 4 to 5 hours worth of content that most of you guys don't see because it's only for the people that are on my Odds Shopper probability stats and content package. And what I wanted to do was give a 3-day free trial to that so that you guys could get access to a 2.5-hour full card breakdown show called Balls Deep Breakdowns with me, your host, Uncle Weezy. Also, you're going to get access to a 2-hour plus EV prop betting show called Probability with me, your host, Uncle Weezy. And if you look in the description of this video, there is a link to a free 3-day full trial so you can get access to the Discord. You can get access to all my track bets for this week. You can get access to all the content that goes out every week with this probability stats and content package, Balls Deep Breakdown, Probability, the stats packages that I send out with all of my betting models. That's all going to be available for you guys. This only costs $25 a month. There's honestly nobody that provides the amount of content that I'm providing on this package. And it's great stuff, you guys. So fight write-ups, the stats packages, both shows, all my track bets, access to the Discord. Click the link in the description of the video. 3 days to my Odds Shopper probability stats and content package for free. I think most of you are going to want to re-up that at $25 a month because it's a phenomenal amount of content to have access to. So last week we were down a couple units tracked. Let's see, down 2.12 units tracked. Lost the unit on the Rizvan Kuniev money line at plus 200. Kind of felt like Rizvan definitely won that fight. I had him winning rounds 2 and 3, and I even had him winning round 1 on damage. But like, just because you do a little bit more damage, but you get controlled for 3 minutes, I agree that Blades won round 1 of that fight. But yeah, that was a 3-unit swing. And then Melissa Mullins, what the fuck was that? That was like one of the dumbest, like in terms of fight IQ, that was up there with like, with Corey McKenna versus Elise Reed. It was that level of fight IQ. It was who was the guy who walked away from Sean Woodson when he had him knocked out? The fight ready fighter, Luis Saldana. Saldana just walking away from a fighter that he just knocked out, and then wound up getting a draw because he lost the next 2 rounds. Kneeing him in the face and then celebrating when he was down. There's just some crazy shit. So yeah, Mullins was like at least like a 5-unit swing. Rizvan Kuniev was like a 3-unit swing. We hit on Sadikov by KO, had a 1.5-unit bet on that at plus 125, and should have hit on the Kuniev, should have hit on the probability parlay. Lost on Ulanbekov by submission, lost on Melissa Mullins to win inside the distance, and I lost on that probability parlay. So yeah, down 2.12 units, but looking to have a big bounce back week this week. And yeah, I'm just going to take you through a full card breakdown here real quick. And like I say, if you want access to all of the material that is available on my probability stats and content package, like the fight write-ups that you see here, full fight write-ups for every fight. There's also the stats package here, which you will get access to, which has my over-under betting model for every fight, my prop betting model for every fight, the side-by-side stats compared to the divisional benchmarks as well as to each other, the individual fight stats with all of the Prize Picks, DraftKings, FanDuel, and Underdog information, and then access to the fight write-ups, and then access to the content that's available in the Discord and on the Odds Shopper as well. So definitely check out that link to the free 3-day trial so that you can get access to all of my information and all of my paid content for UFC 317, you guys. But we'll take you through the quick full card breakdown here, starting off with Jackson McVey versus Christopher Ewert. This is a fight that I'm not going to have any money on because I feel like I need to know a lot more about Jackson McVey. Jackson, if you look at my stats package here, he was supposed to fight Cedricus Dumas, but Dumas had ankle monitor problems, which is something that we can all relate to. But 8.3 minutes. If you look at that highlighted number right there, 6 fights for Jackson McVey as a professional that have lasted a grand total of 8.3 minutes. This guy's never seen a second round before. So with it being his UFC debut, there's a big chance of an adrenaline dump. We have no idea what this guy would look like in round 2. We have no idea what this guy would look like in round 3. So it's hard to know where you should bet on him. Whether should it be a KO? Should it be a sub? Does this guy have 3-round cardio? He might. There's no way for us to know though. So there's a lot of missing information on this fight. So I don't think it's a smart one to gamble on. But I am picking Jackson McVey. He looks a lot more dangerous than Ewert. Ewert looks really mid to me. Like he doesn't look dangerous anywhere. What he does look to be is well-rounded and tough, so that he's going to give you a good fight because he's not going to necessarily be easy to take down. He can take you down a little bit. He's going to stay busy enough on the feet. He's going to be able to eat the shots that you land on him. And he looks a little bit undersized for the division. I think he's going to be a lot smaller than McVey. And McVey looks like to be like the 10 times more dangerous fighter in this matchup. So I'm picking Jackson McVey, and I'm picking him to win by submission in round number 1. But we'll see what happens here. Ewert has a lot more experience. He's faced a much better brand of competition, and we've seen Ewert go 3 full rounds. He doesn't really get tired. He looks to be in good condition. So yeah, I think he's fighting at the wrong weight class, though. I think he's really more of a welterweight, not a middleweight. But most of his fights that I saw on the regionals were either at middleweight or light heavyweight. So I don't think he's going to fare well at the UFC level at middleweight, because I think he's going to be undersized in every single fight. So like Jackson McVey to win by first round submission. And right now that betting line is sitting around Ewert minus 170 and McVey around plus 145. It's probably moved since Wednesday when I created that banner, though. Next fight, Janice versus Hines. And I'm going with Janice to win by decision. Alvin Hines is a tough dude. Look at that neck on that guy. You know, he's going to be very difficult to knock out. He's got solid conditioning. He's going to come forward. He can mix in a little bit of grappling. He can mix in a little bit of wrestling. So I think that Hines is going to be looking to try to take Janice down, who's a very good kickboxer. But I don't like this matchup for Alvin Hines. I think Alvin will be able to find some wins at this level. He's tough. He's durable. He's got good conditioning for a heavyweight, and he walks forward. So a lot of heavyweights do get tired. A lot of heavyweights can be broken in the second half of fights. And I think Hines has the capability to do that. But I also think that he's very durable, and I know that Janice is extremely durable. So my interesting angle on this fight is I think it's going to go to decision. And I'm picking Janice to win the fight by decision by landing the bigger shots in each round. I think Hines might be able to get a takedown or two, but I don't know if he's going to have a ton of success with it. So I like Janice. I like Janice to win by decision. That's a plus 500 betting line. It might be something I sprinkle a little bit, but as of right now, I don't have any tracked bets on this fight. The next fight that we're going to talk about, big favorite here in Jacoby Smith at minus 2,500 going up against the veteran Nico the Hybrid Price, a plus 1,200 underdog. So at this implied probability of minus 2,500, which we'll see here on my betting model, a minus 2,500 betting line, it means a 96.15% chance that Jacoby Smith wins this fight. So there's no room for error there anymore. You know, you're not, even if he's really does have 100% chance of winning this fight, even if he was going to win it 100 out of 100 times, he's still only getting a 3.85% edge there. So obviously, if you're betting that Jacoby Smith side, all of those prop bets, they have to add up to a 96.15% probability. And in fact, most of the time they're going to add up to even more than that. Like if you add up the minus 286 KO line, the plus 510 submission line, and the plus 650 decision line, you get 103.82%. So it takes you even further when you're betting the props on the Jacoby Smith side into something where you're really not going to find any value anywhere. One of the things that I talk about is the steakhouse bet. Some of you guys who know me, who have watched my content before, you know about the steakhouse bet. And I'm not going to go into great detail about it, but it's basically when you have a young fighter like Jacoby Smith who makes $12,000 to show up and a $12,000 win bonus. He's on a pay-per-view card where even if he gets a spectacular knockout, he's minus 2,500. Nobody cares. You know, whoever wins the main event is going to get the bonus this week. You know, you're going up against fighters that, you know, have been here a lot longer and are a lot more likely to get that bonus. So how do you pay yourself with a bonus? In an easy winnable fight, you would win in a way that people don't expect you to, and then tell all your buddies, oh, bet me to win by decision at 6.5 to 1, because I'm not going to try to finish this guy. I'm going to take him down. I'm going to lay on top of him. And I'm not saying that's what Jacoby's going to do. I'm just saying that when you're dealing with young athletes who don't make a lot of money, there are ways that they can kind of give themselves a raise without necessarily cheating or breaking the rules. Like the best example of this is Derek Lewis versus Jailton Almeida. That fight doesn't go to decision prop, and I'm not joking about this. It opened at minus 20,000. It was a 5-round fight, and everyone was like, either Lewis is going to knock out Almeida or Almeida is going to take down Lewis and ground and pound him out or submit him. And everybody that was watching that fight was saying, why isn't Jonathan Almeida doing anything when he takes him down? Why is he just laying on top of him and not trying to land any ground and pound? Well, it was on purpose, because Jonathan Almeida to win by decision was something like 18-1. So all I'm saying is that when everybody expects Jacoby Smith to go out there and knock somebody out in the first round, oftentimes that's not how it winds up happening. And maybe this fight will go over 1.5 rounds. Maybe Jacoby Smith will get on the mic after a big win and be like, hey, man, I wanted to test my wrestling at this level. I already know that the power works. I wanted to see if I could wrestle a veteran like Nico Price. And so he might go out there and lay on top of him for 3 rounds. And if that happens, you're going to remember this and you're going to say, I wonder where Jacoby Smith is going after this fight. And it might be him and his buddies going to the steakhouse, and having a really good time, laughing their asses off, counting those plus 6.5-1 decision tickets that they all cash. So just be careful, guys. When you bet on fights where the favorite is minus 2,500, oftentimes there are some very strange outcomes that people aren't expecting, and that could be one of them. The pick, though, is, after all that, it's Jacoby Smith by first round knockout, you guys. But we'll see how it goes, man. Nico's very experienced. He's fought a really much better level of competition. Obviously, he's just been around a lot longer, but this is a pretty one-sided mismatch here. All right, next fight, McKinney versus Borshchev. Really fun fight here. Terrence McKinney, one of the best kill or be killed fighters to ever be in the UFC. He's one of these guys that is either going to win or lose and do it in under 7.5 minutes. All 10 of his UFC fights have finished under 1.5 rounds. Most of them finished in round number 1. But the one thing that we all know about Terrence McKinney is that if Terrence doesn't get you out of there in about 2.5 to 3 minutes, he's not winning the fight. And a lot of times now, like Terrence McKinney's durability is something that is in serious question. He's been knocked out violently on several occasions. The head kick that he got from Ribovics was brutal. The step-in knee that he caught from Sean Woodson on Dana White's Contender Series many years ago, brutal. I think we've seen this guy even just iced on the regional scene in horrible fashion. So this guy's been knocked out cold at least 5 times in his career. So I don't like the fact that Terrence McKinney is fighting somebody who has historically been extremely durable in Vyacheslav Borshchev, because the one thing that's not going to change at the age of 30 for Terrence McKinney is he's not all of a sudden overnight going to become comfortable with the act of fighting, because he's not. And he's never really going to be able to pace himself for 3 full rounds because he's too explosive. You can't throw that much power into all your strikes and manage your energy for 15 minutes. It's just, there's no, it's like trying to run a 2.5 minute mile. It's just never, ever, ever going to fucking happen. You can't, perform. You can't redline for that long. And everything that Terrence McKinney does is just redlining the engine. So Slava Borshchev is somebody that's going to have a big striking advantage here. I think he probably gets taken down early. Maybe even Terrence gets to his back, and Terrence is going to be looking to finish with a rear naked choke. But every minute that passes by that McKinney doesn't get the finish, the opportunity for Borshchev to not just win but finish this fight inside the distance goes up. I've got a bet on Borshchev's money line at plus 150, and I have a 1-unit bet on Borshchev to win in rounds 2 or 3 at plus 488 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. But Slava Borshchev KO round 2 is how I see this fight playing out. I think McKinney's going to have grappling success, but not finish early. And I think Slava's going to come back in the second after McKinney adrenaline dumps, and I think he's going to show him the door. Next fight, it's going to be Vivi Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. I got Tracy winning this one by decision. Vivi has had historically really good takedown defense. But when we look at actually who it's against, there's not any good wrestlers here. Alexa Davis, nope. Jessica I, nope. Montana De La Rosa's got some wrestling, but she's not a high percentage wrestler at this level by any stretch of the imagination. Monteferi's a good grappler, but a terrible wrestler. Caitlin Suramanara never takes anybody down. Lee does get some takedowns occasionally. Grasso's a boxer. Amanda Hebas is a judo player. Maya never shoots takedowns. Natalia Silva never shoots takedowns. And then we did see Araujo stuff a bunch of takedowns from Karine Silva, 1 of 7 on the takedowns. But Karine was never a good wrestler to begin with either. Tracy Cortez is somebody that gets takedowns in pretty much every fight except for the Jazz Davicius fight. She didn't wrestle offensively, but 4 against Agapova, 2 against Mello, 3 against Egger, 3 against Keish, 2 against Gatto, none against Jazz Davicius, but she won that fight on the feet. And then she got a couple against Rose, but ones that wasn't really able to keep her down. That was a short notice fight at elevation, 5 rounds. What I think is going to happen here is that Tracy and Vivi are going to be very, very close on the feet. But I think Tracy being 7 years younger, I think her being the better offensive and defensive wrestler here is going to allow her to find some dominant positions on the mat that allow her to be able to win minutes and bank rounds here. So Tracy Cortez by decision is the pick for this fight. The next one's going to be an absolute banger between Hyder Amil and Jose Delgado. We got Amil is around a plus 140 favorite right now. Delgado around minus 160. Fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at minus 200 for this fight. I think it's going to be a banger, but I think it goes to decision, you guys. I like fight goes to decision here at about plus 160. Jose Delgado's never been finished. Hyder Amil has never even lost a fight. But I have a feeling that both of these guys are the type of fighters that have that dog in them and that you're going to probably need to kill them to get them out of there. And I think both of these guys have the opportunity to slow down the fight with some offensive wrestling should they ever get clipped and find themselves on Queer Street not knowing where they're at. So I think that this one's going to go the full 15 minutes. I haven't pulled the trigger on a fight goes bet yet, but I think I will be doing that. And I'm picking Jose Delgado to win by decision, but I think Hyder Amil is very live to win this fight. My favorite money line side here would be the Amil side. Love the way that Hyder Amil fights. And Jose Delgado looks like a really good prospect. Very young, only 27 years old. So I think he's 7 or 8 years younger than Hyder Amil at this point in their careers. Big height advantage, big reach advantage here. Pretty spectacular striking on Delgado. Love the footwork. And a tricky submission game as well, which is going to make it difficult on Hyder Amil to wrestle. So I think Delgado is going to be landing the bigger shots, and I think he's going to win this fight by decision. But my favorite bet for this fight is a fight goes to decision bet. The next one, Jack Hermanson going up against Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez. Rodriguez a minus 220 favorite here. Jack is somebody that I think is a good size step up in competition here for Rodriguez, but Jack has not been active lately. This guy's on a long layoff, about 1 year and 4 months coming into this fight. And then prior to the last fight, he took a long layoff as well. So Jack just hasn't been active. There have been some injury problems, back issues. And now that he's 37 years old, those long layoffs are major concerns at that age because, the health of your body is just absolutely such a massive part of having success at this level in this sport. And I just think that Rodriguez is better suited to win right now. While this is on the feet, I see Rodriguez being the far more dangerous fighter. And in terms of minute winning at this level, Rodriguez has done a better job with his offensive and defensive wrestling than Hermanson has. So I don't know where Jack's going to go to win minutes or moments in this fight. So one of my more confident picks of the week is definitely Gregory Rodriguez, and I think he's going to finish Jack Hermanson inside the distance here. So I like the fight doesn't go to decision for this fight. I like Rodriguez to win inside the distance, and I think a KO is going to be his most likely path because he's got serious power in his hands. So Rodriguez by knockout in round number 2 is my pick for this fight. I see that we got 266 live viewers right now. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe, you guys. I think I'm like 10 or 100 subscribers away from 5,000, which would be just huge. I'd love to get 5,000 subscribers to my YouTube channel. That would be a big benchmark for me. So yeah, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, do so, please. Leave me a comment down below. Hit that thumbs up, and also 3 free days, you guys, to the probability stats and content package. Link in the description of this video. Get you some. Go check out all my stats packages. Go check out all my fight write-ups. Go check out the Discord. Go check out all my track bets. Check it all out. 2-hour show probability. Check it out. 2.5-hour full card breakdown show, all with timestamps. Balls deep breakdowns. Check it out. Link in the description of the video. 3 free days. Come on. You got nothing to lose. It's fucking free. You guys are all freeloaders watching me for free on YouTube. Just embrace your inner freeloader and freeload off of your Uncle Weezy. Freeload off of my fight write-ups. Freeload off of my stats packages. Freeload off of my Discord where you're going to get access to all my track bets this week. Freeload your ass off. That's what's great about YouTube. You get to freeload. It's all free. So check it out. And I think you're going to actually want to pay and give your Uncle Weezy money going forward when you see how much crazy amount of content there is on this probability stats and content package. But let's move on to the next fight of the night, which is going to be an absolute banger between Felipe Jungle Boy Lima and Peyton Talbott. We got Talbott going from being a minus 1,800 favorite versus Giannis Gamori, being a minus 1,200 favorite over a legend in Hani Barcelos. And now he's going to be a minus 180 favorite over Peyton Talbott. So Talbott's going to be a plus 155 underdog. And I hate this matchup for Peyton Talbott. Peyton's extremely aggressive on the feet, pressures forward nonstop, throws long straight punches, and Felipe Lima uses his opponent's explosive forward actions to duck under and get to his opponent's back. Talbott's defensively very likely to have that done to him, and Felipe Lima does it to his opponents all the time. So Felipe Lima's offensive back takes are phenomenal, and his timing on them is perfect. And major defensive lapse on the Peyton Talbott side is having his back taken. Now, Peyton's going to be extremely difficult to finish. The guy's very durable, whether it be for his chin or whether it just be not quitting when put in bad positions on the mat like he was several times by Hani Barcelos. So I do think that Peyton Talbott is going to be able to take this one to the bell. So my pick is Felipe Lima to win by decision, and I think he's going to win the decision here because I think he's going to keep the striking exchanges close, but I see him getting to Talbott's back regularly, and if you're able to do that, it's very hard to win minutes against fighters who are constantly taking your back. I think it's going to look like a Grant Dawson fight with Felipe Lima playing the, Brazilian 135-pound version of Grant Dawson here. So Lima by decision is the pick. But I do also have a bet, Felipe Lima half unit on the submission prop at plus 475 because I think he's going to have Talbott's back so often. I think that there's a really good chance that he does find a submission in this fight. All right, next one. We got to pick them between Beneil Dariush at minus 110 and a man who cannot afford to lose, Renato Money Moicano minus 110. Fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at plus 105 for this fight. So when I wrote up this fight, I basically said, that I think that these guys are well matched in so many ways. Both these guys are experienced and well-rounded. They're both 36 years old. They're both capable of winning minutes on the feet and on the mat. Both guys, high-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu players. Both guys have really impressive UFC resumes. But Renato has been the more active fighter as of late, the more effective fighter as of late. You see that Beneil Dariush is on a 2-fight losing streak. He's lost both of those fights by first-round knockout, and he hasn't won a fight since the year 2022. And all those things are not good. Now you're adding a 16-month layoff to all that. So I just think that even though Beneil Dariush, in my opinion, is probably the guy that's going to be more likely to get takedowns and win minutes on top position, in my opinion, he's the more likely guy to hit hard on the feet and land the more damaging strikes at distance striking range. Beneil has just historically shown more power on the feet. And he's faced the better brand of competition on the aggregate at this level. So all those things, I think, lead me to believe that Beneil Dariush is going to win this fight. But it's 2025. This is the version of Beneil Dariush that I'm getting, the one that's on a 2-fight losing streak, the one that's on a 16-month layoff, the one that just got paid a show bonus and a win bonus for not even fighting last time out when he was supposed to fight Moicano in March, when Moicano got moved up to fight Makhachev on 1 day's notice. So Beneil Dariush might be retiring right after this fight. And I think that Moicano, hardware-wise, motivation-wise, and just current form-wise, is more likely to win this fight. So my pick is Renato Moicano to win by decision here. The next fight, Brandon Royval versus Josh Van. This is going to be a hell of a fight. It's very close to a pick'em, but Josh Van becoming a small favorite here. I'm going with Royval. I think that Royval is going to be the better minute winner, or moment winner, I should say, wherever this fight goes. I love the step-in knees, and I think that those step-in knees are going to be a big problem for Josh Van. At only 5'4", with the constant forward pressure that he brings, I could see him walking onto a big knee from Royval. My favorite bet, though, for this fight is, I think both of these guys have got a lot of finish upside. I think Royval, with his submission game, could submit most of the division, including Joshua Van, especially if Van does something stupid. I think Brandon Royval could knock out Josh Van with a step-in knee or a big head kick or something. Josh Van is fighting 4 to 5 times per year, and he's been finished in both of his professional losses. The last guy to finish him, Charles Johnson. And like Royval, Charles Johnson is a switch stance fighter who doesn't like to move backwards. So I think that's one of the reasons here that I like Royval. First of all, the betting markets, they always when I do balls deep breakdowns, I do these slide by slide presentations, which you don't even have to take my word for it. You can just click on the link in the description of the video and go check out all of my content for free. But when we talk about betting lines here, dude, look at Brandon Royval, 7-3 in the UFC, with an average betting line of plus 138 and a return on investment of 80%. But check this out, right? 10 fights in the UFC. This guy's fought for the fucking title, but he's only been priced as a favorite twice, you guys. The market continuously disrespects Brandon Royval, and Brandon Royval keeps rewarding people who back him. 87% return on investment with an average betting line of plus 176 and a record of 5 wins and 3 losses when he is priced as a pick'em or underdog. So Brandon Royval keeps getting underpriced by the market, and he keeps paying off the people that back him. Did you back him at plus 177 versus Mateus Nicolau? If you did, he paid you off. Did you back him to beat Brandon Moreno at plus 256? If you did, he paid you off. Did you back him to beat another young up-and-coming fighter in Tatsuro Taira here at plus 245? If you did, he paid you off. Brandon Royval keeps getting underappreciated and disrespected by the market, and the bettors who keep backing him keep getting paid off. I'm going to be one of those guys backing the Brandon Royval side this week. I could see him really giving Josh a difficult time getting his game into a rhythm here. Brandon's a very unique and difficult opponent to plan for, and Josh is taking this fight on very short notice. So interesting fight. I'm picking Brandon Royval to get a late knockout here in round number 3. And my favorite bet for this fight is fight doesn't go to decision at plus 155. It's a trifecta bet on my over-under betting model. Let me show you here. Plus 155, 44% of flyweight fights finish inside the distance. We're only paying 39% on this line. And 6 of 7 Brandon Royval fights and 3 of 8 Josh Van fights, meaning 9 of 15 or 60% of their total UFC fights that have been scheduled for 3 rounds have finished inside the distance. So we're getting 60% finish rate combined for these guys, but we only pay 39% at plus 155 for the fight doesn't go here. So my model says that this is underpriced according to all 3 metric comparisons that we do in line 12, line 18, and line 19 of the of the model here. So we definitely like a fight doesn't go to decision bet for this fight. And I've got a 1.5 unit bet on that at plus 155. All right. Alexander Pantoja at minus 230 versus Kai Kara France at plus 195. Fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at minus 130. Kai is another fighter who hasn't been particularly active lately. Concussion issues, if I'm not mistaken. He had to pull out. Oh, Christ. I have to bring up another Tapology page. Let me do it, though. I don't want to speak out of school on this because I know we already covered this, but I covered it on my show 2 days ago, so I want to just refresh my memory. Kai Kara France had to pull out of the Manel Kopp fight in late September with a concussion, yes. And then also pulled out of the Alex Perez fight with an injury here in early 2023. And he only fought once in 2024, only fought once in 2023. He hasn't been the most active fighter as of late. And that's not good for 5-round fights against guys like Pantoja, who's defending the belt 2-3 times a year thus far. So I do like Pantoja to get the job done. Kai Kara France isn't the best minute winner, right? And this is a 5-round fight against a guy who just doesn't seem to slow down and can grapple for 5 straight rounds. So I see Pantoja being able to win those minutes when he is able to get those takedowns, potentially even finishing the fight with an early submission. And even though Pantoja's never been finished as a professional, never even been knocked out, and I don't even think he's been knocked down. Let me make sure that is the case. Pantoja's been knocked down once in 16 fights at the UFC level, and he's never been submitted and he's never been knocked out as a professional. But Kai Kara France has great power. 8 knockdowns in 12 UFC fights. He's landing a knockdown on over 1% of the significant strikes that he lands. So Kai Kara France is somebody that can absolutely knock you out. And Pantoja, who is now 35 years old in the flyweight division, definitely getting towards the end of his career, and there's going to come a point when that durability goes downhill. So I think Kai Kara France has some early finish upside here. I think Alexander Pantoja has some early finish upside. My favorite bet for this fight is an under 2.5 rounds, available right now on DraftKings at plus 190. I think it's a pretty good look. It's something I'm probably going to track this week, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. But my pick for this fight is a Pantoja submission in round number 2, and I think Kai Kara France's win condition here is a knockout in rounds 1 or 2, or perhaps early in round 3 here. But yeah, I'm going with Pantoja. I think he's one of the best to ever do it in this division, and I like the grappling advantage that he has. And I like backing a guy who's very durable against a guy who's really kind of a little bit more dependent on winning moments, especially against a fighter like Pantoja, who's such a dominant minute winner in the grappling exchanges. So yeah, Pantoja submission round 2. And that brings us to the main event of the evening. Ilia Topuria at minus 500, going up against Charles do Bronx Oliveira plus 375. I'm going to go with Topuria for the pick. You cannot, deny a guy who's accomplished what Ilia Topuria has accomplished, but all of it he accomplished at 145. So there's still going to be some unanswered questions here. Number 1, how does he deal with the forward pressure of Charles Oliveira? Number 2, how is he going to look in the clinch up a weight class in the middleweight division? Because we know that Charles historically has been very effective in the clinch. Number 3, does this move up? How small is Ilia going to look in there, right? Because he looked small at featherweight. Now he's going to be fighting some really big lightweights. And he's still got to prove to us that he's going to be as elite of a lightweight as he was elite of a featherweight, you guys. That's something that he still has to prove to us. But here's what Ilia Topuria has proven thus far. He's 16-0 as a professional. In the featherweight division, there are 2 fighters that are widely thought of to be the GOATs. That's Max Holloway, and not just the GOAT boxer Max Holloway, but the GOAT in durability. I mean, known for being one of the most durable guys to ever do it. And Topuria went out there and not just beat him, but knocked out a guy who had never been knocked out. And a lot of people like me thought would never be knocked out. He went out there and he ran through Alexander Volkanovski in 2 rounds, and he said he'd do it in 1. You know, this guy's incredibly confident. His grappling game is extremely high level, even though he hasn't shown much of that off yet at this level. And his power is something that is really what dreams are made of, what legends are made of. And Ilia Topuria's story is still being written. So it's going to be great to see this young man in the octagon again, one of the best to ever do it. And going up against the guy in Charles Oliveira, who's one of the most, talk about the all-time submission leader, the all-time finish leader, the all-time bonus leader, former champion of the division. You know, this guy's an absolute legend. So it's going to be a great fight. I have to go with Topuria. He's just proven it to me too many times in a row for me to suggest that he's not going to win this fight, that I'm going to pick Charles Oliveira. But we bet fighters, we bet numbers. I think the good gamblers bet numbers. And getting a fighter of Charles Oliveira's quality at about plus 375 is something that I'm going to probably have to be a part of this week for probably a 1-unit bet, because I want to see how Topuria looks in the clinch. I want to see how he looks with somebody with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills of Charles Oliveira. I mean, obviously, if you were to go through his resume, he fought Ryan Hall, and people wondered how that would go, and Ilya looked phenomenal against Ryan Hall. But, Charles Oliveira might be a little bit better than Ryan Hall in terms of fighting, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. But the pick is Ilia Topuria. I think he gets a knockout because Charles is so hittable, but I want to see how he deals. I want to see how he looks off of his back foot. I want to see how he looks in the clinch. I want to see how he looks defending submissions against somebody of a grappler of Charles Oliveira's quality. So even though I'm picking Topuria to win, I think the bet is going to be a Charles Oliveira money line bet this week, you guys. So we did it. We got all of our picks in here, and we got to give you guys a dog pick of the week, and we got to give you guys Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. So the dog pick of the week this week, the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week, is going to be the Slava Borshchev money line at plus 140. Plus, I got it at plus 150. Because Borshchev is so durable, because he's going to be so difficult to knock out, because he's going to be so difficult to submit, I think he's going to be able to last long enough with Terrence McKinney for Terrence to adrenaline dump and then look for the door. And if Borshchev is able to get back up when he's taken down, or if he is just able to keep this fight standing, he's the better striker than Terrence McKinney. And because he's durable, I think he'll be able to hang in there long enough until McKinney does slow down. And once he does, then I think we're going to see Borshchev, who couldn't finish a guy like Jimmy Yontop, but Fat Yontop is extremely durable. McKinney's the opposite. McKinney's been knocked out in all but one of his losses, and he's never lost by decision in his career. One of the easiest guys to finish in the entire division. So I think Slava's just going to outlast him, and I like his money line, and I like Slava 2-3. I like Slava inside the distance. I like Slava by KO. These are all spots that I think hit, but Slava Borshchev round 2 at around plus 800 is a very, very tempting number that I'm playing in a couple of different ways this week. So that is your Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week. And that will leave us with the last order of business on the full card breakdown, which is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Who's going to win and win violently? I think Jackson McVey wins violently, but I don't know anything about this guy. So there's still a ton more to find out. We know way more about Christopher Ewert. And I think if this fight gets out of round 1, Ewert's probably going to win in one way or another. He'll either finish a gassed out or adrenaline dump to McVey, or just win rounds 2 and 3 on his way to a decision. But McVey is extremely dangerous. His clinch game is so nasty. So I think he's going to take the smaller Ewert, put him up against that cage, start to land the knees and the elbows. Maybe when Ewert puts his head down, look for a darce or a guillotine. But I think he's going to submit him in round number 1. Denise, I think, could easily shave ass here, but I think Alvin Hines is extremely durable. And because of that, I'm not picking him. Smith, yeah, I mean, he's minus 2,500. You don't need that from me. We're already picking Borshchev for the dog of the week. Cortez by decision, not an ass shaving. Delgado, I think this is going to be a back and forth. I don't think this is going to be a one-sided fight at all. And I think that the money line side is Hyder Amil, so I'm not picking him. Gregory Rodriguez, great potential choice here. I think he is going to win and win violently. Lima, I think, could win and win violently, but it would be more of a submission than a knockout because Talbott's got great durability. Moicano, I got winning by decision. Royval, I do have winning by a knockout, but I could see a finish either way here. Pantoja, I think, is a great choice for the ass shaving of the week this week, as is Topuria. But, you know, I'm going to go with RoboCop to shave the ass of Jack Hermanson. And Jack Hermanson, I'm getting a very inactive fighter that's nearing the end of his career, injury problems, and durability problems. He's got 3 losses in 3-round fights at the UFC level, and Jack has been finished in all 3 of those losses. So I do think the most likely path to victory here for Rodriguez is a knockout, and so I'm picking him to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week this week. So that brings us to the Greasy 4-leg parlay. So how are we going to make some money off of this information that I just gave you? Well, we're going to go to Bet Rivers Sportsbook, and we're going to bet a 4-leg parlay, which is going to give us some really nice returns this week. And we almost hit last week. We had Mick DeBeck, Oral Boys money line, check. We had Jun Young Park's money line, check. We had Melissa Mullins money line, no check. So that killed the probability parlay. And then we also had the fight doesn't go to decision for the Ulan Bekov fight. That fight actually did go the full 15 minutes. So we only actually hit 2 out of 4 last week. So this week we're looking to bounce back, hit all 4 legs, and cash like a plus 600 here. So leg 1 of the parlay is going to be, in order to get this thing some meat on the bone, it's going to be our dog pick of the week, Vyacheslav Borshchev at plus 130 to cover against Terrence McKinney and get a win. Leg number 2 is going to be the Tracy Cortez by decision prop at minus 195. It's something that my model likes quite a bit here. You can see that Cortez by decision, which was sitting at minus 200, all 5 of Tracy's UFC wins come by decision. All 4 of Vivi Araujo's losses come by decision. So it's a reduction of about 5 to 6% in implied probability to get the money line at minus 260 down to the decision prop at minus 195. So my model still thinks it's probably underpriced by about 5.56% when we consider the 9-fight sample size of how Tracy wins fights at this level and how Vivi loses fights. So Tracy Cortez by decision gets this 2-leg parlay up to plus 250. Leg number 3 is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. The money line here for Gregory Rodriguez at minus 230. Brings this 3-leg parlay up to plus 403. And then leg number 4, we're going to go with a guy that can't afford to lose, but I don't think either one of these guys is going to finish the other. So we're going for an over 1.5 rounds at minus 220 for Dariush versus Moicano. Neither one of these guys is very durable, but at this point, I'm not counting on Beneil Dariush to knock out anybody. I'm not looking at Moicano to be knocking out anybody on the feet. And both of these guys are too talented of grapplers to submit the other. So I'm looking for an over 1.5 rounds here at minus 220. That brings this 4-leg parlay up to plus 635 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Let's cash this thing. I got 392 of you live hanging out in here right now. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. If I can get 100 of you to subscribe, man, I'd be at 5,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which would be really cool. But let's see what you are all up to in the chat. What are you guys thinking for this week? Who do you got? Am I crazy on any of these picks? Am I just crazy in general? We got my guy Milkman is in the room saying, give your Uncle Weezy money now. And you don't even have to give it to me. You can just freeload. Do what you've always been doing. Just show up here on YouTube and freeload. Go over to the Odds Shopper, freeload. You're going to get all my UFC 317 picks. You're going to get like 4.5 hours worth of content between balls deep breakdowns and probability. You're going to get the fight write-ups. You're going to get the stats packages. You're going to get access to the Discord. All that information for free for the next 72 hours. Click on the link in the description of the video. Abdi, Adil in the room saying, Weezy on the comeback trail. Sincerely, I happen to think Weezy is great at selecting the winner of the main event. Great track record. Flapjacks incoming. Let's get it, Adil. Good to see you hanging out in here. We getting greasy at night, baby. Oh, he says my guy Olajuwon. We got PGH in the room saying, yes, we're getting it a day early. God is great. The greatest to do it. Thank you so much, PGH. Thank you for hanging out in here with us. Forrest saying, Uncle Weezy heard Thursday needed some excitement, so we came a day early, making MMA betting great again. Appreciate you, Forrest. And he's saying, Uncle Weezy, you should go to PFL in Chicago tomorrow. I'm sure they still have tickets on sale. Surprise your lady friend with a date night at the fights. She just got back from working in Dallas, I believe, all week. I think the last thing that she wants to do tomorrow is go and sit and watch fights. So I don't know what we're doing tomorrow night, but I think I'm going to be chilling out, relaxing a little bit, enjoying the week off next week. We got Mr. D with the flapjacks and the money in here. Good to see you hanging out. Saying PGH been sitting here waiting. We got Forrest saying, who has the most to lose in the main event, Topuria or Oliveira? I would say it's Topuria because he gave up a championship thinking he was going to come up here and it was going to be easy. And then now all of a sudden he's not going to be the featherweight champion. And then he's not going to be the lightweight champion either. And he'll be 16-1 if he loses this fight. Oliveira's lost a ton of fights in his career. So I think that he's got a lot less to lose. Topuria has got more to lose for sure. Subs for dinner, says T-Saw, saying McKinney, Moicano, and Pantoja. Yeah, I don't think Moicano or McKinney are getting subs, but I think if McKinney does get a finish, I think it will be by submission because, it's just going to be very difficult to knock out Borshchev. The guy's extremely durable, but I think the one thing that he could do is get to his back and submit him. If Moicano submitted Dariush, I'd be really surprised. I think he'd have to hurt him on the feet first in order for that to happen. I like that one going over. So we got Mikhail in the room saying, what's up? What's going on in here? We got Medek saying, Baza right. I don't know what that means. We got Rousus in the room saying, oi, what's up, Unc? Good to see you hanging out. Brandon R saying, long-time listener, first-time oyer. Just wanted to say, oi, what's up, Brandon? We got Jacob saying, oh, yes. We got Toasty saying, where's Unc at? Right here, my man. We got Antonio Esparza, ring a ding ding with the $5 donation saying, my favorite Unc. What's up, bro? Sorry I've been absent from the lives recently. How are you and the family doing? Fuck this heat in Chicago. I hate it. Yeah, dude, it's been hot here in Chicago, man. Super humid and just wet, hot. And I think it's going to get hot again this weekend. So we got to stay inside, stay cool during those really hot hours, and I'm going to try to get my walks in and my exercise in later on at night when the sun goes down, man. It is nasty, but thank you so much for the donation, Antonio. Stay cool here in Chicago. We got Daz Files saying live at not 6 a.m. Let's go. Yeah, because I know that you guys over there on the other part of the world, I think Daz is in New Zealand, completely different hours, when I'm going live. We got Mikhail with the exclamation points. Brandon R saying pound for pound best UFC handicapper, YouTube pre-fight breakdown live stream intro song. Couldn't agree more. It's a favorite. It's a great song. We got Mikhail saying Unc's in the building. Steve saying what up, my fave uncle? I'm doing good, man. We got Vincent saying ayo, what's up, Vincent? We got Antonio saying Unc looking like an Italian gangster tonight. How about a Greek gangster? But yeah. I'll take Italian. We're very close to each other for sure. Jacob saying, I'm curious how you feel about Van Royval. Yeah, that's a great fight. It's such a good fight. I think there's really good reasons to be on both sides of that one. But for Van Royval, my official side is I like violence there. I think that plus 155 is a great fight. Doesn't go to decision line. PGH with the goats. What's up, dude? We got PGH saying, first time being on live. Thank you for joining us. We got Chin Check saying late night Weezy. Oi, let's go. Good luck, bro. We got Michael in the room saying Weezy the Don. Good to see you hanging out. We got the Cuban Assassin saying Weezy, what's up? Is Ozempic Keith Peterson working this week? We miss him at the Regal Beagle. I don't know, man. Like, he's lost all that weight. He might have stopped drinking. He might be on Ozempic, like you said, or on Wegovy or something like that. We've been out there before the show started. There's that Wegovy commercial that's just been on with that horrible song, and it's just, oh God, I hate these fucking commercials. I look back to the days when I was a kid and you didn't have to fucking watch a commercial for pills every other fucking, because you couldn't even advertise that shit on television. Now everything is a fucking drug, and I have to watch the commercials for them, and it's awful. So yeah, shout out Ozempic, shout out Wegovy, shout out like Zovuzaz or whatever the other drugs are named. I don't know, man. I don't need to be on. I got my water and I got my weed and occasionally a little bit of alcohol. Oi, wait, more water. There we go. We got Aldo Valerga Salivary in the room saying, my man Weezy always making me money. Let's do this again, bro. Yeah, he's right. Mullins sucked ass on the last fight. Alex Sava was also a big letdown. Dumb game plan from Alex Sava as well, for sure. Dixon in the room saying, hi, Prophet Weeziah. I'm currently on the world tour premiere of my new profile picture. I hope you like it. It's our boy Cody Saftik. I know Cody. I know that's definitely him, and you picked one of the worst pictures of Cody that you could have picked. I'm sure Cody is not going to be thrilled with that one. But then again, you had Paul last time with the wild looks. So good to see you hanging out, though, Dixon. We got Samir saying, you think this UFC card is hard to bet on? Yeah, there are several fights that I think are very difficult to bet on. The one that's kicking it off, Ewert McVey, difficult to bet on. Price Smith, very difficult to bet on, in my opinion. Hard to find value in Cortez Araujo. Yeah, there's some definite tough ones to bet on, but I've got some good reads on some of these as well. So there's some good spots and some bad spots. Jackie Paper in the room saying, Weezy, great to see you, brother. Let's get some green. Let's do it. We got my guy Jimmy Flick is in the room saying, shout out to Uncle Weezy. Give the man some money. Give Jimmy Flick some money too, dude. We need more submission bonuses from our guy Jimmy Flick in the UFC. Sand Springs, Oklahoma, stand up. We got Jacob Cole in the room saying, like Denise decision, plus 500 right now on Bet Online Sportsbook. It's a very tempting number. We got Barry McCockiner in the room. What's up, Barry? Good to see you in here. Saying Hines is a short notice bum. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching Hines fights in LFA. And I think he's going to make some noise at this level, but very, very, very tough opponent to take on short notice in Jonathan Denise. We got Lazy Bet in the room saying, Weezy, Greasy, beautiful cover, girl. What is up, Lazy Bet? You got to love those commercials from back in the day. We got way fucking late, Weezy. What is this, says JMO. Yeah, didn't feel like doing it tomorrow, man. Wanted to get it out there a little bit earlier, a little bit more time for people to view it, a little more time for people to click the link in the description of the video. The Whisper giveaway this week is 3 free days to your Uncle Weezy's Discord, 3 free days to check out these fight write-ups, 3 free days to check out these stat models, 3 free days to check out ball deep breakdowns with me, your host, Uncle Weezy, 3 free days to check out probability with me, your host, Uncle Weezy. Come on, you guys. Get in there. Click that link. I want to see some people when I get off of here and I check my odd shopper. I want to see some fucking freeloaders. I want to see some freeloaders. And hopefully some of you freeloaders will actually be like, yeah, fuck yeah, $25 a month. I'll pay for this. Hell yeah. So enjoy. We got Benino saying, I saw Jacoby Smith at the Baccarat table. Bet the decision. I think I might, man. Plus 650, dude. Jacoby Smith might wait to get this finish or maybe not get the finish at all. We'll see, man. Nighty night. Hope Nico's butthole's extra tight. They turned Javid Baccarat into it. What the fuck? What the fuck is that, saying Mikhail? Patchy Mix losing a decision payday. I mean, could be, man. We got Jacoby Smith by decision. There you go, Jacob Cole. I think the lawyer's retirement fight was fixed. I mean, dude, there's a lot, some questions. Are these guys going to pay themselves with over 1.5? Not necessarily with over 1.5, but I think Jailton Almeida got himself a nice plus 1,800 on Jailton Almeida decision over Derek Lewis. McKinney could sub Borshchev, but you just can't trust him. Yeah, he could sub just about anybody. Terrence McKinney's a really talented wrestler and submission grappler, so he's going to be live to win this fight. That's the thing about picking Borshchev here is if this goes bad, it's going to go really bad. You're going to be like there 45 seconds after the fight starts going, what just happened? How did he fucking lose that fast? But that's the game we play. It's gambling. You can only lose as much as your bet. So if you make a shit bet, they can't come back and say, give me another $100. And if they do, you just tell them, go fuck yourself. I'm not giving you another $100. I lost enough on that bum. McKinney and Hooper, both backgrounds with Chiesa. Yep. We got Shady is in the room. What's up, Shady? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got fight goes to decision. We got goes to decision for your parlays. I don't know about for the parlays, but it's going to be a fun one. Oi, hoi, hoi. Very much indeed, says Action Jackson. Ahoy, hoi to you. We got no bet for me. Going to sit back and enjoy the show. We got my guy Clint is in the room saying good luck this week, Weezy. Same to you, my man. I hope it all goes well for both of us this week, man. We got the cop in here. We got I like Jack decision, says Jacob Cole. Yeah, that's a good number. That's something that I gave out on the probability show notes this week was Hermanson decision at plus 310. I think if he wins this fight, it's going to be a decision there. So, yeah, I think that's a good look. Hermanson is going to knock out Rodriguez. That would be really surprising to me. Ground and pound, maybe, but he's never knocked anybody outstanding at this level. We got the robot there. We got Rodriguez. We got Jur. We got Hermanson via decision at plus 300 seems live. Agreed. Similar to Delise, so a ground and pound type of thing you're saying. We got LOL no, says Samir. We got KG Julfion in the room saying, I got you. You deserve it. Appreciate you, KJ. We got Reek in the room saying, love your work, Uncle Weezy, baby. Thank you for hanging out, Reek. We got my guy Ring-a-Ding-Ding, Los T City Ortega with the $14 donation saying Dumas should have been able to walk out with his parole officer, take off his ankle monitor right before entering the cage, then immediately put it back on. Who's with me? Have a great weekend, Weezy. Dude, I had a 3-unit bet on Jackson McVey at plus 115 versus Dumbass. And I was really, really crestfallen when they took that one away from me, man. I really wanted that bet. That would have been a great hit. I just, Dumas did his fight camp in a dog crate and in prison, and now he's going to go out there and he's going to beat this killer. I think that Jackson would have put him right in the clinch and either submitted him or knocked him out with knees almost immediately. So real bummer. But I'm not bummed anymore because my guy Low T City Ortega just made a massive donation to the show. Truly appreciate you, buddy. Ring-a-ding-ding for the donation. Keeping the lights on here in your Uncle Weezy studio. I think he should have had to keep it on, have the police run around outside the octagon so he doesn't get too far away. And he definitely agrees with that, man. Cyrus the Great is in the room saying, love you, Uncle. Good to see you hanging out in here. Saying Franco was saying, I was expecting this tomorrow, early show. Yep, early show. Just wanted to get it out of the way so that I didn't have to have anything to do tomorrow, but do some shit, some catching up with my getting stats in the database, getting my stats product out for my Odd Shopper members for the UFC not Tallahassee. I'm talking about Dumas. Tennessee card, the UFC Nashville card coming up in a couple of weeks. We got Muhammad in the room saying, "Oi!" We got my guy Sam in the room saying, "Give Uncle Weezy money now and give your Uncle Weezy money," says Muhammad. And look at brick face there. Bricktop, I should say. I mean, like, you don't tell that guy, no, I'm not giving my Uncle Weezy money. He's going to fucking punch you in the mouth and say, how about now? So appreciate my guy, Muhammad, in the room. Sam saying, what's up, Hood Wolf? We got sub Sam, says Muhammad. Moicano, Royval, Topuria. I'm picking all three. I hope it hits, man. We got Biggie Boy in the room saying, shout out to Dumas. He helped my grandma cross the street. Yeah, that ankle monitor gives him extra balance and he can help her out, get her across the street. A true philanthropist for sure. Benil sucks since he became a father, says Barry McCockiner. I didn't know that he just became one. I didn't know that, but maybe that's a possibility. Been seeing a surprising amount of people on Van, in my opinion. Yeah, well, Van's a hell of a fighter. Van is a very, 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 very good fighter. So really looking forward to that fight. We got Cowboy from Hell in the room saying, smartest capper, love your breakdowns, Unc. What's up, Cowboy from Hell? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got, to me, Royval sub makes the most sense if it's a finish. Yeah, but he could catch him with that step-in knee. His step-in knee is so nasty. And Josh Van is short, so he can walk onto that thing. But he's always walking forward. He's short. So I think that that step-in knee from Royval might be how he knocks him out if he were to get one. All right. Yes. So, Brandon, my model says Royval fight doesn't go to decision 6 of 7 in the UFC, but he's 6 of 10. He's 6 of 7 in 3-round fights. So that's the thing, you guys. This is a 3-round fight. We don't care about the 5-round fights. People fight differently in 5-round fights. They will pace themselves early in 5-round fights. So whenever I'm doing a fight, and I'm considering the data for that fight, I will only consider the data that matches the duration of that particular fight. So if it were a 5-round fight, it would show Royval fight doesn't go to decision 0 of 3. But 6 of 7 is what we're showing because this is a 3-round fight against Josh Van. And in his 7 3-round fights, 6 of them finished inside the distance. Daz File saying Royval's sub is $10 and by finish only is minus 108. Wow. Yeah, and that's pretty good. If you're thinking that, he gets a sub, then that's if they're saying that he's got more chance to finish there, that's a pretty good number. Yeah, and the 6 of 7 is in the 3-round fights, right? Barry is saying Ilya is going to be the welterweight champ. We'll see, man. We'll see. Let's see him get the 155-pound belt first. Enlighten my opinion, saying, "Oi from Uncle Illinois, Uncle Weezy. Keep up the good work. Thank you for hanging out in here." We got Jake C saying this is a tailor-made fight for Ilya. I feel I love Charles too. Yeah, I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out on Saturday. I can't wait. I cannot wait for that fight. KM in the room saying, I got a chance to fuck. I'll need to catch this video in the AM. Much love, Weezy. Go and get in there, KM. Go take care of business, man. Mr. D saying, let's stack. Let's get it. And Damari saying that he's going to watch Probability after this. If you all aren't paying $25 a month for the best stats packages anywhere near this price point, you've lost your mind. You also get 2 more great shows a week. And yeah, Damari's on the Odds Shopper. And yeah, and you get the 2-hour Probability show every week. You get the 2 to 2.5 hour full card breakdown, Balls Deep breakdowns every week, where we go through the slide-by-slide presentations to take you through all the important points of each fight so that we can take the most information into account before we come to our decision. T.O. Phillips saying around 2-3 sprinkle. I'm not sure what fight you're talking about there. Olajuwon in the room saying, oi. We got Joseph saying, I don't know about Slava's durability. Dude looks close to 50. He's taken huge damage his last 4 fights. Yeah, if you want to talk about durability, if you're worried about Slava's durability, how worried are you about Terrence McKinney's durability? A guy who can't go more than 2.5 minutes without giving up? A guy who's been iced violently 5 different times in his career? So, if you're worried about Slava's durability, I'd be fucking terrified about backing somebody with no durability at all in Terrence McKinney. Joseph saying, Chase Hooper has him hanging on for life in round 1, and Hooper definitely isn't a big puncher finisher. I think Chase Hooper would be minus 1,000 against Terrence McKinney. That fight would be an absolute ass shaving. Not that Hooper Borshchev wasn't, but just keep in mind, what would fucking Chase Hooper do to Terrence McKinney? It would be so ugly. They're nowhere near each other on the mat, and Chase Hooper's cardio is absolutely endless. So, yeah, Chase Hooper has him hanging on for dear life in round 1. He has everybody hanging on for dear life. Chase Hooper's a stud. So, yeah, I completely disagree with you there, Joe. We got Olajuwon saying, love this one, Weezy. Let's get it, man. We got Dave saying, cash it. Let's go. We got Greenbat saying, in the beginning there was Topuria. Let's go. We got KJ saying, brother, much love. Can you do next time then for the 4-leg parlay? Maybe like 6 or 7 at least? No chance, dude. I don't do that big of parlays. 4 legs is entirely too many. We got First Oyer, LOL. Let's get it, man. We got 33 in the room saying play of the decade is Charles by Triangle Choke. Man, that would be a big hit if it hit, because his sub prop is already pretty fat. So getting the actual method right would be amazing. Daz Files saying Ilya by sub plus 50 is $15. 15? No, it couldn't possibly be 15 to 1. I got it at like 5 to 1. Topuria sub plus 575. Still a pretty good number though, man. And he's a phenomenal submission grappler. Yeah, no, I'm not doing any 6-leg parlays. Hell no. We got Toasty Los in the room saying Sky Rizzy. What is up to? That's another drug. Oh my God. Yeah, for sure. Cody M saying, saying, hey, Uncle Weezy, just saw you in the lucrative room. Appreciate you, dog. We doing that pack. Let's get it, Cody. Yeah, I was watching Parlay Madness for a little bit before I came in here to do this show. And normally I wouldn't even be doing a show tonight. But like I say, man, it's UFC 317. I wanted to get the content out a little bit earlier for you guys this week. And I see I got 407 live viewers. So thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We got Conites in the room saying LMAO. We got H in the room saying Jacob is taking the first round KO, I believe, for Janice. Yeah, he might be. I'm going Janice decision. But, like, I mean, I would not be surprised at all if Janice knocked him out. He's got a ton of power. I just think from what I've seen from Hines, there's a lot of durability there. There's a lot of heart there, and there's solid conditioning. And I think he's a decent fighter. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm picking Janice by decision there. Do you think the fight doesn't go to decision is worth a shot in the Jack and RoboCop fight? Yeah, I saw it was a trifecta bet on your template, but Jack could keep this fight on the outside like he did Pyfer and Curtis. Remember, Pyfer doesn't throw, and Curtis is a counterpuncher. So that is not what Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez is. RoboCop's going to be walking him down, looking to engage, looking to go first. So I do like the fight doesn't go to decision. The problem, Rousis, is I would rather just play Rodriguez inside the distance at plus 150, because Hermanson is not somebody who's going to knock you out on the feet, right? So he's going to need takedowns and top control time to get ground and pound off, or he's going to need to find a submission. And, I think Rodriguez is like a world champion level BJJ player at the purple belt level. So he's somebody that's going to be very, very difficult to take down and dominate on the ground. So I like fight doesn't go to decision. My model likes it, but I think that there's a lot more value in just RoboCop inside the distance there. Thanks for your time and effort as always, my man. Thank you for being a part of the community, man. I really appreciate everybody that's taking the time to make that click and support the work. And you're not just supporting the work. You're going to get a lot for your $25 a month. We got Kalong in the room saying, give me a safety parlay, bro. Safety parlay. There's no such thing as safety, but I think the Janice money line at minus 325. Gregory Rodriguez at minus 230. Yeah, take those two. I like those. Minus 115. It's good enough. Jack 1 versus Pyfer, who is reliant on a 1 and 2 and is huge. This Gregory guy is the exact same. No, actually, that's why the stats packages are so important, you guys. Gregory Rodriguez is a high volume striker. Joe Pyfer doesn't throw any volume. So when you look at somebody like Rodriguez, who's out there throwing, 13 distance strike attempts per minute. 10.4 is the divisional average. And you look at a guy like Pyfer, it's going to be more like 7. So while Pyfer's got good power, Rodriguez has volume, forward pressure, and power. 1.1% significant strike knockdown ratio. 6 knockdowns in only 10 UFC fights. Almost got Jared Cannonier out of there in round 1. So, yeah, Hermanson, and also, Hermanson has 6 UFC losses. 4 of them are inside the distance. The only guys that didn't finish them were Sean Strickland in a 5-round fight and Joe Pyfer in a 5-round fight. But the other 4 guys who beat him all beat him inside the distance. And now you've got injuries on the Hermanson side, inactivity, and an over 1-year layoff. We got my guy, the Godfather, is in the room saying, "Oi, yes, what's up, dude?" We got Jacob saying Jack could probably KO Greg in a 5-rounder. Maybe in a 5-rounder, maybe, but I think it would need to be ground and pound. I don't think he's knocking him out on the feet. Shaman ain't a 5-rounder. Well, I mean, yeah, I think 3 rounds is fine for this. But it's a pay-per-view card, so we can't make them all 5-rounders. Tom Gordon in the room saying, "Thank you, good work, Weezy. Truly appreciate you, Tom." We got Otto saying Obama for the win. We got Barack Obama here. Gregory Rodriguez. We got Bradley in the room saying, "Hit the like button, y'all boys. Appreciate you." We got Toasty saying, "Always shout out for the freeloaders. Let's go, freeloaders. Freeload off of your Uncle Weezy." Link in the description of the video. 3-day free trial to the probability stats and content package. You're going to get access to all of my UFC 317 content for free. Freeload off your Uncle Weezy. Do it. You do it here every week anyway. Just do it a little bit more. Cheat off of me this week. We got Kadeep saying, "Give Uncle Weezy money now, you freeloading fucks." Says, I didn't have to say it. My guy, the Godfather, said it. And you're not going to say shit to the Godfather because he's the Godfather. Gus B with the flapjacks. What's up, dude? Biggie Boy saying, "Ili Apturo by Twister." Who? Ili Apturo? I've never heard of him. We got Caveman Yogi saying, "Big up to the GOAT, Uncle Weezy. Good to see you hanging out in here, Caveman." We got Blom Dog is in the room saying, "Oi, Unc, what's up, Blom Dog?" We got Gus B saying, "Give Weezy money." We got Count Christian in the room saying, "How likely is Charles to win?" I'd say he has a 35 to 40% chance. Yeah, I'd say, you know what? I really don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions about how Ilia Topuria is going to look at 155 against an opponent that looks a lot different than his last 3 really good opponents that he faced. Josh Emmett, Volkanovski, and Holloway, right? So Charles Oliveira is much different than all 3 of those guys in just the way that he fights. So I want to see how he fights against a much bigger opponent, against a guy with a lot of accolades like Oliveira does at this division, and with the forward pressure that he fights with. I want to see how Ilya does off of his back foot. Let's see. Cody saying, "What about RoboCop KO or decision double chance?" I don't mind that. I don't mind it as much. But if you're going to do that, you might as well just play the money line, I think. Yeah, I would just play the money line. Give me Talbott, Moicano, Royval, Pantoja, and Topuria plus 1560. It's a big number, and I'm picking all of them to win except for Talbott there. But that's still a big number, Jester. I like it. Biggie Boy in the room saying, "Throw Pantoja in that parlay too." There we go. We got RFC saying, "Extremely important big card this week. Have you got to Royval versus Van yet?" Waiting for that. Yeah, definitely already took care of that fight. You're going to have to rewind to the full card breakdown, but I'm picking Brandon Royval. I'm picking him to win by 3rd round knockout, and my favorite bet for that fight is the fight doesn't go to decision. RFC saying, "Really need Royval to win for me, man. He has all the better tools." And he's saying, "First card I'm wagering, and of course I have to come to Unc for his advice." Well, good luck to you, RFC. I hope you hit big this week. I'm picking Royval to win, but the line is very close for a reason. Josh Van is a phenomenal fighter, and there's a lot of ways that he can win this fight by keeping the fight standing and landing the heavier strikes on the feet. We got Marcel is in the room. What is up? Saying, "Oi!" And RFC saying that he's wagering bigger, I meant. Okay, yeah, so we're throwing a little bit more money down on this card. We got Marcel saying Uncle Weezy's favorite Steph nephew has arrived. Yes. We've got Jacob saying I meant ground and pound, of course. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's different. That's different. For you're talking about Hermanson. Conite's in the room saying, have you revealed the four-leg? Yes, I have. The four-leg is the first leg is going to be the Borshchev money line at plus 130. Second leg is going to be Tracy Cortez to win by decision. Leg number 3, Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, the Gregory Rodriguez money line at minus 230. Leg number 4, the over 1.5 rounds for Renato Moicano versus Beneil Dariush. That comes out to plus 635 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. And we got Weezy saying, let's cash stack tickets like flapjacks. I feel it this week. Let's get it, man. Isn't Royval concussed? He was concussed back in March. Yes. That's why he had to pull out of the Manel Kopp fight back in March, which is one of the reasons why my favorite bet for the fight is not the Royval money line, but the fight doesn't go to decision. We got Marcel with the salute, and we got H. Gore saying, is Van sort of in the Bahamondes spot from last week? Not really. I don't think so. Van is taking this fight on very short notice. He's staying extremely active here. That wasn't that long ago. Thank you for the great work you do, Unc. I first saw you on the UFC prediction tracker as you were one of the best in the business. I feel much more confident after seeing your advice and help on picks. Truly appreciate you for hanging out, RFC. So yeah, you guys, we did it. I appreciate you guys hanging out live here. We did a full card breakdown. We got the dog pick of the week is Slava Borshchev. The ass shaving of the week is Gregory Rodriguez's money line, and the Greasy 4-leg parlay is Slava Borshchev money line, Tracy Cortez by decision, Gregory Rodriguez money line, and the over 1.5 rounds from Moicano Dariush. And in the link in the description of this video is going to give you a free 3-day trial to my probability stats and content package, so you can access all of my UFC 317 content, including my track bets, my fight write-ups, my stats packages, my betting models, 4.5 hours worth of content between balls deep breakdowns and probability. You can check it out all for free. Freeload off of me, cheat off of me, and hopefully you'll want to re-up for $25 a month after 3 days. So appreciate you guys for hanging out. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave me a comment down below. And the last thing to do, let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks for UFC 317. Have a great rest of your night, everybody, and enjoy watching these fights and make a bunch of money on all your bets. Have a great one. Take care.